Okay, we're back.
It's us again.
It's us again. I'm so excited though because today we have a really special guest, and you were the first YouTuber that I ever followed and taught me about hand lettering. So I'll let you do a quick
Oh,
introduction of who you are and then we'll get into it.
nice. That's cool that that happened. I am Will. I do lettering design in graphics. I don't know why I said it like that. I do graphic design, lettering, and accidentally owned an agency in the north of the UK where we do like brand identity stuff and I make YouTube videos. I think that's how it
Yeah,
works.
just a couple YouTube videos you've made in your career.
Yeah, I think it's like nearly 1,000 now, which
Yeah.
is which is
Chump
crazy.
change.
Yeah, I feel like we have to like go way back to the beginning because you've been doing
Yeah.
YouTube for ever. I mean,
12
since
years.
that's a long time and you're still doing it. Like
Yeah.
the biggest thing I was wondering is how have you kept doing it? Like people burn out so quickly. And I know your content has like shifted in some ways, but honestly, I feel like it's stayed pretty true to who you are and what you do. And so I'd love to hear more about kind of that experience.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind to say.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need help. Help us.
Yeah, I think social media now, when I started YouTube, it was because I had a friend who also was doing design and he inspired me to do design. And this was back in the day where you would have channel backgrounds where you could actually upload an image to channel backgrounds. And what would happen is people called GFX designers, so GFX graphics. And it was kind of like this MLG sort of gamer meme group where we would get paid by actual YouTubers to design their backgrounds who were doing well, and then you'd make a name for yourself. Well, what happened was I got into kind of that as my taste into design because I did terrible at school, and I would post videos on that at first, like speed designs or speed arts, they were called, where you just record your screen and show the transformation. So I don't know if those videos are available anymore. I think they're privated. I might release them again. They're really cringe back in the day. So the kind of story goes, and this will help answer the question. I moved from that into tutorial based content and also like everyday graphic design, mentory type of content because I would find that there was no tutorials to do what I wanted to do. So I'd have to read books, which I was terrible at back then because I failed school. I've got dyslexia, so I've got learning difficulties in that way. I would make videos of something that I would learn. I would back engineer what someone's done, make a video, and people would find it really valuable. And from there, I kind of just did that. Over the years, it's kept like that because when it started to take off and do well, we realized that short form content was coming into sort of everything from like Instagram, Facebook, Vine, and things like that. And now
Oh
TikTok.
my gosh, Vine.
Yeah, Vine, bring back Vine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my God.
I
Bring
watched,
it
That was
back.
a wonderful
watched those.
era.
Yeah, I still watch them. I look back at the greatest Vine compilations on YouTube just as a laugh. It's
I
proper
love that.
nostalgia.
I love that.
Basically, we saw that a lot of people are making content for short term gain. And what we realized is that a lot of our videos, the most views that we get are from like over 6 months ago. Some of them are like 2 years ago. And we're wondering, oh, this is strange. And we would get sponsors who loved to sponsor us until the point of where at one point a couple of years ago, we were the most sponsored channel in Europe, which is like a pretty...
Oh, dang.
It's okay.
Yeah,
we'll
we had
take
a
them off
YouTube-
your hands if you have too many.
We had a YouTube partner manager back then who would actually help. Now YouTube
Yeah.
don't care about their creators at all, unless I could go into a big spiel about it. But YouTube said that, and we realized that evergreen content, so content that people can watch now and in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, that is relevant to them, is the way that we keep going. And a lot of YouTubers and people on social media, helped by the Instagram algorithms and TikTok, only create trending viral content for then, like the moment. They don't actually create value. Not everyone, but like a lot of the time we see that. So I've always been a big thing of if people are zinging this way, I will go the other way and I'll create content that might be boring until you need it. So that's how we sort of kept going.
I feel
The
like
zag has worked for you.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
This kind of encompasses all my feelings about the persona I've thought about you for so long because I feel like you've stayed so humble I've never seen you as an influencer. I've always seen you as someone who was just sharing value and like staying true to who you were and never jumping on a trend. And it sounds like that's just exactly what you did. It's just, if someone was going that way, you went the other way, and you just always kept your mission of like helping other people at the forefront, and it worked.
It's very kind for you to say that. I think the way to stay humble online is the community will obviously help you. They will comment and make sure. You got to just let that happen. Once you realize that you're replaceable, you will be humble. A lot of these big shot influencers, who I really respect and admire, by the way, probably they don't have this feeling that they could be replaced very quickly. There is nothing that anyone can do that can't be replaced on YouTube. Yeah. And we've seen that with like types of videos that we see. Everyone jumps on that because it makes a load of money, or it's the meta at the moment. It's the same on Instagram. And I'm not really active on Instagram at all because I personally, every time I go through it, I'm wondering what's happening to the world.
Yes.
I'm going to be that guy who's still watching like his CRT monitor 20 years later, but just on social media because I hate the short content idea. So yeah, the community helps keep you humble. And I guess that's it. If you're not, then people will stop following. And plus, all I'm doing is I'm just translating things in a way that is different. The way that I talk and do stuff or explain things is inevitably different because I'm a different kind of person. I'm self-taught completely. Again, I've got learning difficulties. So the way that I teach is more like principled and visual based rather than theoretical or anything like that. So
I love all of that. I have ADHD, and I feel like in my adult life and as an entrepreneur, it's been my superpower. And I remember I was telling Katie about how now I'm really proud of it. But when I was in high school and when I was in middle school, it was incredibly embarrassing because nobody was talking about it. And I had to get pulled out of the classroom at times when everyone else was not. And now I went into my son's classroom, and he's only in first grade, but every 10 seconds, a new kid was getting pulled out of the classroom for whether it was reading or math or whatever. And it was just so nice to see that every kid needed something. And it didn't make anyone different or more special, or everyone needs something, and how awesome that the school was taking care of it. But yeah, I feel
That's
like
brilliant.
That perspective of, well, I'm going to do it differently because I'm this way, I'm programmed this way. And to know and feel confident that people are going to find value in that. I love it. I love everything you said.
I just was interested more in chatting about your content strategy, the short term versus long term, and drilling down just a little bit more into that. Wondering if you can give some more concrete examples of what a strategy that's more based around long term versus virality looks like, and how you kind of come up with the ideas for the videos that you're going to create. Like, what's your thought process? How do you decide that?
It's easy to go viral on YouTube. You just have to lose your soul, is what I say. Sometimes it happens without you losing your soul. And that's just like, good luck. When I say that, it's not simple, but it is easy to do. You do something crazy with a crazy hook and boom, someone's entertained for 10 minutes, keep them entertained, keep them watched. Do a Mr. Beast and make sure that you're kind of in a trance when you're watching.
Just give away a couple million.
Well, I mean, that's a genius thing. I'm not berating anyone who does that. I think for me, our content strategy has always been, does it help someone or does it uplift someone? One of our longest series has been the Reddit critique series, where we get everyone to post on our subreddit, which is like I think 25,000 people now, which is insane when I think about that. It's just Reddit. I don't even use Reddit normally. I just use it for that. And we provide critiques, and the community critiques as well, and the community helps and whatnot. And people just get promoted through it. So we try and uplift. We try to essentially distill good design values in critiques through that. So as a strategy on YouTube, we find what helps, what's valuable, and what I enjoy. So if I enjoy, like, I love creating fonts like this slabby one that I'm making here. A lot of people probably won't find that fun, but I could make a video on that and it would do well for me. But then I've got to think about my sponsors. So we've got to make sure everyone wins apart from me. I've got to be the last person to win on a video. So audience has to win first. They have to get something they want and that they enjoy, that I know, especially if the sponsor's involved, because the sponsor then wins if the audience wins. And if it's a video that I don't personally find riveting, like to do, but I know helps, then, that's fine. But if it's something I also enjoy doing, that's also a win. So the strategy
Bonus
is kind
points.
of, it's kind of a strange, we don't say, okay, we do nature or like, what is it? Nurture and thingy strategies, like all these salespeople. And the reason why is because anytime someone creates a formula, I will run from that because it never works. All these self-help formulas are designed to keep you small online whilst everyone else is doing everything else. There are formulas that work on YouTube, and the only one is that you upload consistently. And that is what it is. Upload helpful, valuable content consistently. The nature, join my email list, all this stuff doesn't work because it's just inherently on YouTube. People are there to do one thing, and that is to watch, whether that's for information, entertainment, or just to switch their brain off. There's content for all of that, or research. Sorry, it's a long question to answer, but it requires context, I promise. Yeah, we don't have a strategy is basically what I'm saying. We just say we want to help people. We'll identify something that we've seen and we'll create a video about it. Or, for instance, at the moment we're working on a documentary which should be airing, and it's taken 2 years to do, but it should be airing later on, about dark patterns and manipulative design techniques that large companies have used. And we're spotlighting them, not like in a nasty way, but we're spotlighting techniques to trick people with design. And that's something that we want to do because it also helps. It's also entertaining and informative, and hopefully it will inspire change. So maybe that answers your question. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that I think it's refreshing that you say the formula is no formula, and when they zig, I zag. I think that's really refreshing because there is a culture online of saying 10 steps to $1 million, 10 steps to 1 million views. That's not how the world works. So I appreciate the transparency. And it's like the Venn diagram you're talking about is very important of I'm trying to please my audience. I'm trying to then please the sponsors by proxy. And then I'm also helping people and enjoying it. That's, the Venn diagram of life and of enjoying your career and what you do is exactly the same. So it makes sense that that's at your strategy heart.
Yeah. I said I'm lying, but it's probably not. It's more of a vision than a strategy. It probably goes in, but we believe in accessible design education for everyone. So whether that is free on YouTube, whether that is if you're in India and we have a course, we give you a huge discount so it matches the current state where you're living.
Amazing.
Like if you're in a third world. So with that, that's the vision. Because when I said there's no formula, I don't mean it depends on what your definition of success is. There's a lot of YouTubers that get millions of views, but they're all like children watching them. Like,
right.
And that isn't something that I want to do, even though it's very simple to do, is to create content like that. We want to create content that is centered around design, that helps designers who are new, inspires designers who have been around for a while, and makes people passionate about making things look better in the design world. Yeah.
This is definitely the most that's such a feel good conversation. I am curious because we've been so deep in our own strategy, and not to say that we've like bought into just doing the business stuff, but we've been really deep in it. And part of that is because we started a business together, but also because we came into an existing community and we're interested in business. If we have a lot of followers on Instagram, that doesn't actually mean anything, but getting them on our email list means something.
That's
because
huge.
Then we and so I'm curious, is the same apply for YouTube? Because I know YouTube pays creators really differently than, let's say, Instagram does. People kind of subscribe in a different way.
It depends on your goals. Again, so like YouTube is less than 1% of what we get paid. We get most of our money through clients. So YouTube is a way of getting your face in front of clients. However, most of our clients come off word of mouth of other clients, or come from, I guess, our portfolio when they see it, when it's ranked or something like that on Google, or just a project that we've done that someone's heard about. So most of the work that I do, no one sees, which is the problem that I have.
Literally just going to say that. How do you balance that?
It's very difficult to, because the problem that I have is we're in a spot now where we haven't been able to update our portfolio for a couple of years, not because we can't be bothered, but because we have to get the release papers for the work that we've done. Some of the work we've done is very sensitive to industries. So we have to be very careful with the information that we put out, as well as like sensitive towards certain companies that we're working for. So it's been quite frustrating. But we've said over the past 2 years, when people hear about what we've done, they're wild that we actually did this because it's quite large projects that no one knows about. So most of the way that we generate an income, well, the large way is through client work because the YouTube channel is there to help. Obviously, it helps increase my profile, but most of the people that ask us for logos from there is like, no, it's like 90%. It's normally just companies that we work with or startups. So the balance of like this, there is none. You'll never find a balance, I don't think. I don't buy into this idea either that there is a balance in anything. There's always times where I've got more time to myself where I can make more videos because we have a team. We have a couple of editors. We have a designer in America, and then obviously me and Naomi who are together. So there is never a balance in this. So I'm not saying that anyone's strategy is wrong. I think the strategy should always follow the vision. A lot of people will create a strategy for the creative business and they don't know what the end goal is. Like for me, one of mine is I want to get my work on a rocket that goes to space. I'm a huge space guy.
Yes.
That's one of mine. Crazy goals. Another one is in my town where I live, there's nothing creative happening. We're one of the only there's 2 creative agencies where we are, but we want to be the creative agency that people can bounce from. They can come and work here, make a name here, and then bounce off to another agency or go somewhere else where they want to go and do something specifically. They really find themselves here. So our goals are kind of in that realm. So our strategy follows that, where clients first, content second, courses last.
We kind of say we're not looking for balance, we're looking for harmony. And for me, I have 2 kids. It's just
balance,
insane all the time. I mean, they're 4 and 7, so it's literally just insanity all the time. But one of the analogies Katie and I used recently was that if you were on a seesaw, right? Like a seesaw is, if it's in the middle, it's balanced. If it's equal weight on both sides, that would be so boring. You just sit there. That's no fun. And so we have to experience those highs and lows. But I think it's really impressive that you and Naomi are doing that together as well, because that can be a really interesting dynamic.
It's brilliant.
You guys have to like turn it off at some point.
It's difficult. I don't really switch off. I think this is a problem. So we've just come back we went to a cottage in the Lake District. We go there every now and then to relax. It's something that I struggle to do. So Naomi's worked with me for like 8 years now. She supported me doing this because back then I couldn't get a job anywhere because I've got no qualifications. I think a lot of people say don't work with your spouse or your partner or whatever. For us, it's been bloody brilliant. There's some tough times because you argue a lot, and that's just normal. Like you argue because you care about it, but you actually want to have that. When there's 2 people who are rooting for the business, it's better than one. If you want to go far, go by yourself. If you want to go further, go with another person, go together. And when you have that with your partner, as long as you're able to calm down, like, and not start a full-on argument about every little bit, and you're able to relinquish control over something that you want to do or a little thing, then it works really well. Working with your partner is great. We would not be anywhere near where we are now without Naomi basically telling me what to do.
Yeah,
you gotta say it like it is.
Work wives, so we understand.
Yeah.
We understand that dynamic.
We definitely would not be where we are if we didn't have each other, because not only can we create more, but something we noticed the other day was that the place where I start to struggle, and not to say struggle is bad, but the place that I start to struggle is the place that Katie really thrives. And so we have this dynamic where, and vice versa. And so sometimes I do something from start to finish, and that's fine too. But how cool if I don't have to struggle through a specific part of a process, especially when business and creativity is involved. So that's been incredible.
And you guys have done a great job as well. I think years and years ago, I started following you guys on Instagram, Good Type. It's just incredible to see how far it's gone, which is wild.
It is. And I appreciate that. And I think something that what worked in the past doesn't work today. And I think that's really important, especially when you have such a large following. Let's say you're just starting and you're watching and you're like, oh, well, I want to be just like Will and I want to be just like Good Type. It's like the things that worked before don't work now, first of all. And also, it's not overnight in any way, shape, or form. And even just because you get the followers or just because you get the subscribers or just because you book the job doesn't mean the next one's going to come. And so we're just constantly learning and assessing
and
things.
The landscape changes so much, and you just have to be fluid with it. And the landscape of the internet and technology and what people are wanting now versus 6 months ago, 6 years ago, it's completely different. And there's a lot of struggle in that too that people don't talk about as much. We're in it right now. I mean, with just a couple years ago, the things that worked really well for our business and that generated revenue it's completely different now. And you just can't be precious about it. And that's something that I think you do really well. It's also almost like a space of entitlement that some people get into because they find something that works and that they're excited about. They kind of cling on to that as like, now I own this. This should always work for me. I earned this.
Yeah.
And as much as we want that to be true, that's just not the reality of life. And we have to be flexible, as difficult as it is.
I think there's something that has stayed true for us and has stayed true for you, Will. And that is your mission has stayed true this entire time.
Yeah.
The reason you're doing this has stayed true this entire time.
Yeah, I think the why is the huge thing. Now, recently, like YouTube and all these platforms have changed massively, as you guys know, over the past few years. Instagram, very much, I would post nearly every day some hand lettering, and, you know, you guys would post and I'd see it top of my feed every day. Then they went algorithmic. What happens then is instead of the users becoming the product, it became the creators becoming the product of the program. YouTube have done a similar thing where they introduced a design element to your videos where you have a score out of 1 out of 10. And it's, in my opinion, the design of that is to show how bad your video is and to make you feel like you haven't done what YouTube want you to do, which is make them more revenue, which has an offsetted thing to people's mental health. And I feel like if anyone's starting social media, it's very important not to run the race, like the rat race that's happening. So many people, like there's YouTubers that I've seen who have literally only think about the views, like the number instead of the right views. You can make a video, and I've had videos where it's had millions of views of the wrong people. And when you have that, it is a bad thing. It's a terrible thing. It might look good in your analytics. You might get more sponsors, but those sponsors will fade away because they realize it's not the right people. Or they're just a bunch of kids sometimes. Like you'll get a bunch of people who on Reddit who don't like what you've said. I did one about AI a couple of years ago before it became a big thing. And then I go on Reddit and I see that someone's commenting about me on there about the video. And then some other YouTubers made a video about me trying to get the views from tearing my video apart, mischaracterizing what I'm saying. YouTube is very fleeting. The ways of how it works and the ways that people think it works and where they think success comes from in social media isn't, which is exactly what you said there. There's a mission behind why you create something, which means that even tomorrow, if they shut off my channel, I'll just go and create a new one and I'll keep going because it's the same thing. It still helps. And getting a newsletter, as you said, especially on Instagram, is a huge thing. It depends on your revenue model. Like if you're selling products, if you're selling a service, it differs. If you're selling a service, then you don't always need to do a newsletter because your clients don't want to be hearing from you how you've been working that week. If you're selling a product, then different. YouTube and Instagram, social media, just to preface for everyone listening, it's really important not to run the rat race. You'll see a lot of YouTubers have fallen away from YouTube and just quit because of the pressure that comes with making sure that video is 1 out of 10 each time. And the dopamine kicks that you get, it's all intentional. It's all been designed so you feel like that, which is the crazy part. It's damaging as well. So I just want people to know that you create content, do things that will help your community and it will pay off.
So well said.
So well said. I can barely get a word out without changing subject really quickly.
No, you're doing amazing. You're doing amazing.
Thank you.
It's just such a good reminder. And what you said about the mailing list, we've talked about this so much because it's been really important for us because we have courses and that's where a large portion of our income comes from. because I have ADHD, will often say to Katie, oh, like, we should talk about funnels. We should talk about this. We should talk about that. And like the things that have helped us, because it's been so helpful to us. And thankfully, Katie will remind me that our community is not necessarily trying to build courses. They're actually trying to book services. They're trying to book clients for their artwork, or they have a product shop, and a product shop would have a different style of newsletter. And so it is really important to think about your why and like, what is your end goal from this? Digesting content is like going with a grain of salt and making sure you have your perspective set so that you're not taking in what people are saying and saying, oh, this is for me because it showed up on my feed, but saying, oh, I'm being fed this. Does this apply to me, or do I even want to take anything from this? All of this makes me want to delete the apps from my phone and only use them on desktop, because I know I can't actually get off of them right now because we rely so heavily on them, but maybe I could slowly put some safer boundaries around them.
Yeah, I think it's easy to do safer boundaries. I think it's important to know that Instagram and YouTube aren't bad things, or newsletters or anything like that.
Yeah.
Funnel systems, we've got them. We have newsletters. I just don't bother writing to them very often. I only try. I'm terrible with writing. So every time I do it, it's like a whole team effort. Like everyone's having to try and translate what I'm writing, as if I've jumped from one story to another there. The way that I've kind of worked this out of what I need to do next, and it sounds so simple, it's silly, but it's helped people on my team and everyone I've spoken to in consulting, is think of your end goal. Like actually think of what you want at the end, like the prize thing that you're looking for. Work backwards. So for us, we created a course website called Design Academy a year ago, and we've hardly pushed it. We've got a website as well called Assets 4D where we're putting resources on there. We hardly push it. But what we're doing is every now and then we've worked backwards to try and work out where we want to go. We want to make design accessible. So if we can't go to other course providers because they don't give us the control of how accessible they are, then we'll create our own. Now, to promote that, we'll just explain it on a video every now and then. So we've worked backwards from that sort of goal. And it's the same for any creator who's struggling to make an income, for like those freelancers. The best way that I kind of worked out to make an income was, if I wanted to earn, let's say, a silly number, a fake one, like if you wanted to earn like $10,000 a year, then you have to make, what was it, like $250 a day? Something like that.
I believe you.
Yeah, find a way of making $250
We're the wrong people
a day.
to ask.
Yeah. The way that I say it is just find someone who can, or find a way of making $250 a day easily. And you'll be surprised at what you can work out to do, whether that's selling templates, learning a skill like creating fonts and selling them, or even just getting a client every so often, to supplement that. And when you want to do, let's say, $100,000 a year, then you go, well, we need to make $2,700 a day. And it becomes more of a backwards of, you go down to its first principles of like, this is the goal. Let's divide it into things we can actionably do. And then we just achieve that goal. Not saying it's about money, but you can do it about everything else, really.
Right. Yeah, we actually just did a podcast. That's what it's called. A podcast and video in one, where we backed up a goal and kind of broke it into bite-sized pieces. But yeah, I think the sticking point is definitely like the money side is fairly easy to break it down like that, right?
Yeah.
And in the beginning of my career, and even a couple of years ago, I was okay with making choices that weren't necessarily aligned as well with my everyday happiness to achieve those smaller goals. Like I was willing to do more things that weren't making me happy in the short term. Yeah. But what happened is that those things added up so much over time and brought me to this place of burnout that was so intense that now I'm in this era of my life where yes, money is important, but oh my gosh, if I'm not doing something that feels good, I just feel like sick. I've like lost all my fucks. I just have to have that focus in my life now. And that's just so much more important. And it's so interesting the different seasons that you go through and like what I'm willing to do at one point in my career, or like the drive that I had and how I would stay up till like 4 a.m. at design school and not bat an eye. And now I'd be like, hell no. It's just a totally different landscape for me now.
People change. And that's the beauty of it. I think as we evolve, once you learn that you can make money in this, your priorities shift. I think, of like, at first, if you're anything like me, you'd be like, take on any client, I'll do anything. I just need this to work. And then after a while, you become confident that you know a bit more about making money. So now
you can
it's
get
more
a little
about,
more choosy. Yeah.
yeah, you get choosy. And does this project mean something? So
Yeah.
in the email you said yesterday, we were talking about like between awards. You asked me like the what if thing on that email yesterday. What was it called?
We're doing this
Our
experiment.
experiments.
Yeah. And so we asked you, and I think we've already done a really great job of touching on it without even saying it. But we basically, just to reiterate for whoever's listening, this year we're doing experiments to find the most joy and that overlap between things that make us really happy, but also things that help us make a living as artists.
I said yes because I had to think about it. I was like, I don't know, what do we do? And over the past couple of years, we've seen loads of designers get awards. And we love the designers who get awards. We're like, so we're not saying anything bad about them at all. But the focus on each design for the award seems to be for an award in a lot of cases. Like these awards are crazy. Then I did a bit of digging and I worked out a lot of these awards you have to pay for to get nominated.
Yep.
So we were like, what is happening here? This is like crazy. So we sort of taken the sentiment of like, we're free from design awards. That's like labeled on us. Like we've had design awards people, whoever they are, trying to ask us, oh, we'll give you a nomination for free and all this. And it's like, well, my design probably won't win an award because it's not for the award. It's for the client. It's not award winning. I don't want to create award winning design. It makes no sense to me. So when you dismantle that, the way that I'm talking about this is it's the purpose of design. Like, why are you creating this? The brands that I work for, if they won an award, I'd be like, wow, that's brilliant, isn't it? But they won't because I'm not nominating them and I haven't designed them so that people go, oh, wow. I've designed them so people go, oh, yeah, that's that brand there. And it's heavily effective and I remember it. And that's like the number one thing for us. So our kind of thing is designing for a purpose rather than an award of recognition, even though it would be nice.
I worked for an advertising agency. It was like our year to host the Addies. I don't know if it's global or just in the US, but the Ad Fed Awards, we ended up calling it an evening up our own ass just to fully address what we were all really there for. And we ended up hiring Nick Offerman to come and be the MC of it. And we just had a really good time with it and like called it what it was because people do pay to submit. And Ilana and I have seen the back end of doing the judging for some of these events and what that really looks like. And the veil has been lifted of like what actually goes into the judging and stuff like that. So you're totally right. The goal is different when you're designing for a client and you're a really strategic designer and you're thinking, okay, the goal here is for this client to remember this brand in a couple of years, or it's for them to pick this up off the shelf and not the product next to it. That goal is not make the flashiest, trendiest design that's going to tickle the fancy of other designers. That's not the audience. It's very good to have your brain fully wrapped around that and the purpose being not about your own ego.
Or feeling validated. I think the awards, and anyone who gets awards, well done. I'm not like saying that it's bad, don't get awards.
Awards make us feel good, but you have to ask the deeper question is why? Is it worth it? Is that really what I want in the end? Yeah. All of those questions are layered on top of the good feelings
and if
of
it is
getting an
something,
award.
Exactly. If it is something that you want, then go for it. But for us, we're just saying, well, if we won an award, what does it do? It's just like, the work's cool. It might be clever, in fact. You might get into that clever tier of maybe a logo or something, but it doesn't actually achieve our goals. It might get more clients through the door.
Might build trust. People might say, well, if other people are giving them a thumbs up, and then I can trust that they're worth working with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that could be a goal of yours. But I feel like, as you say, when you uncover it and you go, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Why are they paying for something like this rather than paying to receive the award or something like another monetization way? But anyway, sorry, I just bang on about that for too long.
No, we love it. That's what it's important.
And especially those awards that can be even predatory, like the amount that you have to pay, or like that they're targeting specifically young designers who are a lot more hungry for that type of validation and they don't have accolades on their resume yet. We definitely need people with their eyes open about those kind of things, or even getting into like the design contest, pay to play kind of thing, or free work to get the potential of winning the actual project in the end. All of those things play to our need for validation, and we have to look at those with our eyes open and ask ourselves the follow-up questions of
why
Yeah.
am I going to pursue this, or is this not the right thing for me?
Will, I'm really curious if there's anything that you do consistently. Has your ego always been this in check? You seem like you have a really good grasp on all of this and that you're not easily like swayed. But I'm curious if this has always been your approach, or do you meditate regularly? Like, how have you kept this really good mindset about it when you know, like, you
or
know
tell
what
us
it's
about
like
a moment
out
when
there?
you didn't.
Yeah. Have you fallen into the trap of social media and questioned that before? I would imagine you have.
Every week. Social media is like, there's cognitive biases in humans in which we seek validation from social media. So sometimes when I do videos, I get some nasty comments. There's always, I should never read the comments, but then I get told off if I don't read the comments and like, say thank you to everyone. But whenever someone's posting nasty stuff, like sometimes my defense mechanism is like, what do they know? Which is not a good thing, but it's also not a bad thing to have that sort of defense mechanism. To keep egos in check, you always have to assume that they know more. Assume that someone knows more about what they're talking about, and then you know about what they're talking about. And I think it's also just like knowing that no one's really thinking about you as much as you think they're thinking about you. So like on social media and YouTube, I think a lot of influencers think, oh, I must post because my followers they need to see me today. They're expecting a video.
They've got their watches out there like, where is he?
Exactly. And there will be out of our channel, there'll be a few hundred people who are like that, who will be expecting videos on time. The reality is they don't care. So the content, you have to give people a reason to watch or to view or to interact with you online. And when you realize that, then your ego goes out the door, because a YouTube channel today, you could start with 0 subscribers and then tomorrow you could have 10,000 subscribers and 5 million views if the video does well or if it goes correctly. We all know stories of YouTube channels that have done that have just gone up and done spectacularly well in what they do, and well done to them. I think your ego, times of where my ego's probably got me, is in the comment section when I argue with people, where I'm just like, who are you? What do you know? Because I've fallen into that trap of I'm arguing now with my subscribers, which happens. Sometimes it's funny and I just take the mick out of them. But I do have to check myself every now and then, make sure that I don't want people thinking that I think that I'm a know-it-all. I would rather people see me as a guide than a teacher or like a leader or something. I just want to guide people instead of lecture them.
I love that. I think that's really great. We've definitely had some fun in our comment section before with just coming up with snarky comments, but it's such a good reminder that it's subjective. Like, this is your opinion. It's your page. You're allowed to do what you want. Everyone doesn't have to agree. And also that it's not that deep. Like, we're talking about design and we're not talking about like operating room, doctor I don't know. Nothing that we're doing is life-threatening.
Doctor stuff.
I think the other problem that comes across, and we've talked about it before, is that because I've got a British accent, if I say something, it sounds like a fact, apparently. Or it sounds like I'm being arrogant. So like if I say the sky's red or the sky's purple or whatever, people think, well, no, it's not. And he just said it.
What's he, the BBC?
Thing. Yeah. So I've had that before. So I had to keep that in mind of when someone in the comments is having a go at me. It might be because of the way that I've said it. They don't seem to grasp my humor, or the way that I'm critiquing people's work makes me look like a know-it-all because I'm showing ways of fixing something that maybe they didn't think need fixing or whatever. So
that's their ego thing, though. The fact that they would take you sharing one way to do something and take it as an attack on them because they didn't think of doing it that way, or they thought I should do this a different way. That's a them problem. That's also something I really did not feel comfortable with in the beginning when I wasn't confident in my own self or my design skills. And I'm still working on my own personal self-confidence, but good riddance. We've lost followers with good type, like more followers than we've gained, plenty of periods. And honestly, I don't care. I honestly think that's a good sign because we are changing the content from what people originally signed up for good type. And I think it's a good sign that people are like self-electing whether they want to keep focusing on that and keep following along, or if they want to buy, because we're changing it up on them. It's evolving, and they're allowed to elect to not follow along if that no longer serves them. And I'm like, I would rather have a group of people around me that are like cheering me on and excited to be there than a group of hostile people who are going to be pointing out all the things that they think I'm doing wrong. So get out of there. Bye.
Yeah. People who comment stuff, you got to think that they're just having a bad day. I'm not the type of person that comments on anything really. When I do, it's seldom. And it's probably to like my friend Made by James, because he always posts amazing design content. I'm just like, this is so good every time. And I like bump him up a bit because the content he posts is great. So I seldom comment. If something's negative, I'll just skip past it. But there is this sub group of people. I nearly said subhuman, but they're not. Don't worry. Like, they're not subhuman. There's a subgroup of people that will just comment nasty things. And I don't know why. And the only way that I can think of it is they're just having a bad time. And sometimes you will be the punching bag.
I like that.
Just having a bad time, fella.
Yeah, no, I think we need to view it like that too, and not with so much weight to it. They're just having a bad time. Like, you know, I don't need to take that too seriously.
I love that perspective. And I think we also, like, when we are critiquing someone's work, like, it's our opinion. You know, we have to keep that in check. It's like, not everyone's going to agree. And also, you're not saying it's right or wrong. Like, it's design. There's no only one way to do something. But I will say, when I see a video anywhere that is, like, just really so insane to me, I do love seeing the creative people in the comments, and they're funny. I don't like the ones where people are like attacking someone, because I think to myself, you would never say that to someone. Just keep scrolling.
Of course.
But the ones that are creative, not comebacks, but just responses, I'm so proud of us as a humanity, of the cool stuff that we come up with. Like, I'll have to send you both one. Oh, they're so good.
I know which ones you mean, actually.
Yeah. My favorite thing is just scrolling TikTok and seeing the random videos that have nothing to do with design. And then I go straight to the comments and people are like, you know what? Hell yeah. To whatever this is. And it's like a lady, like the other day when we saw the lady trying to eat the peaches out of the jar, and she was sticking her hand in there and she couldn't get the peach out because it was like too big to come through the neck. The jug was like gallons, and she took it back and had a shot of peach juice, and it was like, and people were just
everyone loved it.
People were like, hell yeah to whatever this lady is bringing.
That's exactly what I mean. I love that. Saw one the other day that was like
good.
So good. I read it to my parents. I read it to my husband. I was in hysterics. So it was this woman who said, the next time you think of throwing out a pair of panties, don't. And then she takes her underwear and she puts it over her head and wears it as a crop top. And I was like, what's happening? And I go to the comments and I'm like, I can't be the only one who's very confused. And the comments were so good. Someone was like, crop tops are out, crotch tops are in.
Oh, crotch tops.
That's clever.
The comments were so
People are innovative.
Funny. People are so innovative in the comments. And like, they weren't saying to this woman, like, go get off the internet. They were just saying, like, you're creative.
Yeah.
I
like that energy. Let's go towards that energy instead of the mean trolly
I will not be wearing a crotch top, but very resourceful.
It's something to think about.
It reminds you of, like, we throw away things all the time.
Yes,
might as well try and repurpose them.
Yes.
But with comments, I think anyone who's scared of them, don't be. They're just comments. You'll never get over the fact that it's a negative comment. But one negative comment drowns out 100 nice ones. And that's a normal human response. You just got to kind of remember the nice ones whilst you feel like everyone hates it, even though it's just like 10 people out of 1,000.
And unfortunately, it's not something you can just decide to be okay with one day. It's something you have to practice. You have to practice people being kind of mean to you sometimes, or sassy, or saying something that makes you feel really uncomfortable and weird in your skin. And That's the only way to kind of get through that, unfortunately. I mean, you can listen to self-help books and you can listen to podcasts like this where we're not on the other side of it, but somewhat overcome some of the bad feelings of it. But yeah, at the end of the day, you got to go through. You can't go around. Sorry, guys.
That's it.
Yeah. I love this. This was such a great conversation. I'd love to end with, doesn't have to be design related, but is there anything that you're just really loving lately, whether it's like an app, or is there anything that you've recently, whether it's purchased or like started doing in your daily life that you've been loving?
Two things. I've got a Steam Deck, which allows me to play games, which I like computer games. I'm a big computer game guy. I like Diablo and ARPGs. It keeps my meeting focused. Secondly, probably I've started using a program a couple months ago, Affinity designer programs.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see where they go with that. We're currently like doing content with them as well. It's just been, I'm looking at this, but this is Glyphs. This isn't Affinity as well. It's a great program. So yeah.
Cool. That's amazing.
Shout out Affinity.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of these incredible nuggets and a look into your work. Where can people find you? Obviously your YouTube channel, if you want to just do a little shout out to how people can.
Sure. Just type my name into the YouTube search thing and you'll see me pop up is the easiest way, I think. And you can go to my website if you can be bothered, which is willpaterson.design. And I'm on Instagram, but I don't post often. But when I do, it's good. So get on there if you want to.
Love that.
Yeah.
We'll drop that in the show notes. So everybody go rush to Will's videos and give him some supportive crotch top type comments.
That's what I like.
All right. Thanks so much for coming on, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. All good.
Cheers.
Things.
Thank you.